the presentation of mine that goes for the graphs, the drawings, how you project, your data in the form of drawings. So that's sort of today's topic, and we have many drawings on this: pie graph, bar graph, histogram, polygon. So all those things, so okay, all those things we would like to see now. And these drawings will be more elegant. It will be more elegant. Then suppose if you put a drawing, no, you can say many things. So you can say many things. Uh, Let me try with this. Yashwant is there. Yashwant
No, sir, he is not there.
is not there. Narendran. Narendran.
Sir,
Yes, sir. I think you are seeing that graph of 2020 cricket. Can you tell something else by seeing the graph?
sir, in second over, 1 wicket was losing by Bangladesh. Sir. Like that, it is. Sir. It is about the runs scored per over, sir. And wickets
Tell.
fallen per over and wickets fallen per over and all overall match, sir. In sixth, seventh over and eighth over, the wickets have fallen continuously. And 12th over, 2 wickets have been fallen per row. And 16th over also, 2 wickets have been fallen per row. 19th over also, 2 wickets have been fallen, sir. In 20th over, the scores was increased by comparing to the 19th over, sir. Initially, in sixth, 1 to 6 hour power play will be there, sir. So first over has been scored 14 runs per over, sir. And the run rate has been slowed down per 20 overs, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. No. Thank you, Narendra. Just I wanted to tell. They say a picture can speak thousand words. I don't know whether how many words he has spoken, but generally we can tell many things if you see a picture, and that too it is a data picture. It says many things. That's what instead of going for pages, if you put this one, many things we can get it from one. So we will see how our data, your data. So you have data from your students after keeping tests. You have some data, and those data how it can be projected. That's what we are going, and these things what we have, just what I have said, and these are the things which we are going to draw from our data: pie diagram, bar graph, frequency polygon, histogram, cumulative frequency curve, cumulative frequency percentage curve, the last one, which we call it as Vogue, the last one. Okay, we'll go one by one. So this is what pi. What do you mean by pi? You know, no, from even in Packery it's available. You can see which one we call it as a pi. Only we know how to eat. So we call it as pi because anything you can call it as pi. Only one criteria. What is that criteria?
Circle.
That's all. Circle. It has to be in the form of circle. However, it can be made of any foodstuffs. That does not matter. If it is in the form of circle, you can call. If it's made of apple, apple pie. If it is made of from some other grape, some other fruit like grapes, it's a grape pie. That's all. So it only depends upon the structure circle. Okay. So therefore, now we are going for pie diagram, and that is what is here. Whatever what I have said, and now we'll go for drawing of your of our data. See the data on the left hand side. So it's 10th standard mark list: English, Tamil, Maths, Science and Social Science. 60, 80, 100, 98 and 96. How to make a pie diagram out of these marks? 5 marks. How to go about? What is the total angle in the circle?
360, sir.
360 degree. You take it, the 360 degree will be the overall total. What is the total of these mark? I think 432, I think. Roughly, we can check it.
434, sir.
434. 434 is the total of these marks. That 434, okay, just small correction. I think the fourth, I think it will be correct. For 360 degrees, it is equal to 434. And if you go for 60 degree, sorry, if you go, I'll take like this. Sorry for the interruption. 434 is equal to 360 degree. And for English mark, it is 60 marks. 60 mark is equal to how many degrees? That will be 60 into 360 divided by 434. Can I get the answer? 60 into 360 divided by 434.
49 degrees.
49.7, sir. Around 50.
Okay, around 50. So in a circle, so mark a center. So have a line and take an angle of 50 degrees, and that will be for English mark. So likewise, you have to go for Tamil, Maths, Science and Social Science. So that you can get a pie representation of all these marks. Separately English, Tamil, Maths. So that entire 360 degree you have to divide for these 5 subjects. I also just one presentation along with this. At the end of every February month, no, in India, you have the presentation of financial in Parliament, even in our state assemblies. After that, if you look at the paper, no, they will say how that 1 rupee comes to the government. How the income of 1 rupee comes to the government. How they spend that same rupee, like for agriculture, for defense, for education, they will put only in pie diagrams. Okay. So these things you can also refer. The same thing, it is in what I have written before. This is in typed format. Okay, the same thing. And this is the exact marks. One we have calculated, and these are the exact marks in different colors. So this is the pie graph. So this graph, try for your marks, for your own 10 marks, and keep in the assignment, because now you are not having the samples. So try for your own mark and keep in the assignment. This is the same thing which I have presented before. This we call it as bar graph. Same thing we call it as bar graph. Now we are in bar graph. Bar graph can be of 2 types. It can be of horizontal, it can be of vertical. The first one is vertical and the second one is horizontal. So whatever you like, you can draw it. Generally, we go for the first one normally, but second one also will do. And generally, these bars are in the form of rectangles. The same our benchmarks, the same mark as we have taken for pie graph. Okay, normally if you go for graph, how you draw in graphs? What is the first thing you will do in graphs?
Deciding the axis.
Scales.
Is scaling, correct. Scaling in x-axis, in y-axis, and this is what. In x-axis, we can take the subject, 1 centimeter is equal to 1 subject, and in y-axis, if we are taking 1 centimeter is equal to 20 moles. We can leave some gap between in x-axis, otherwise it will be looking, these are the gaps, so that it is not clumsy, so that we can leave 1 centimeter gap also. So 1 centimeter is equal to 1 subject, and in x-axis it is 1 centimeter, y-axis it is 1 centimeter is equal to 20 moles. So this is very easy. And as like again, you take your own subject, your own 10th standard marks, and make a bar graph in a graph sheet. Here, up to now you have taken white sheets for writing the assignment. Now you take graph sheet. Maybe half also you can use. Half you can use, and then you can have in it. So this can be drawn. It's very easy. Yes. Now we are going for the third one, frequency polygon. What is projected is called as frequency polygon. Can anyone say how this has been drawn? By seeing the diagram on the right part, how this has come, this frequency polygon. Okay, this is drawn from our grouped data. So for these two diagrams, pie and bar graph, it is not for grouped data. Now we are drawing for grouped data, and grouped data is in the x-axis, is on the x-axis, and what we have taken for y-axis, it is a frequency. It is a frequency against the classes. So x-axis we do have class, and you see the frequency is drawn against the classes. It's very simple diagram, and see we have lines. All these lines we have, which started all these lines, which is against frequency and classes. We call this as frequency polygon. Suppose if it is 3, we call it as triangle. So if it is 4, what you call as? If it is 4, if there are 4 turns, we call it as
Quadrilateral.
quadrilateral. Good. Or tetragon. If there are four turns, it is tetragon. If there are 5 turns, what do you call this? 5 turns?
Polygon.
Pentagon. Pentagon. If there are 5 turns, it is called as pentagon. If there are 6 turns,
Hexagon.
if there are many turns,
Polygon.
that's all. That is this word. If there are many turns, this line possesses many turns. Here 1, this is first turn, this is second turn, this is third, this is fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, many turns. Hence the name polygon. This polygon is drawn with frequency, therefore frequency polygon. Very simple to understand. Okay, right? And whatever I have said, this is on the left hand side. Again, a little bit explanation for how to draw. This is the earlier one. Earlier, whatever I have taken, the same thing I am taking for drawing frequency polygon. And what are the new things here? You can see it's two classes are added. One at last and one in the beginning. New classes has been added. Since you are adding the new class of which frequency is 0, because this we are adding hypothetically. Why we are adding hypothetically? One class at the bottom and one class at the top. If you add one class at the bottom and one class at the top, you can see the line touches the x-axis. You see here. The line touches the x-axis. These are the hypothetical classes. 35 to 39 is a hypothetical class. 95 to 99 is a hypothetical class. In order to the frequency polygon to touch the x-axis, so that make it complete, we are adding hypothetical class. Frequency is 0. And again, these are the things. As like you said in bar graph, the same thing. 1 centimeter is equal to 1 class, and 1 centimeter is equal to 2 frequency. I have taken the scaling as this. And we are taking the midpoint of that class. To represent a class, we are taking the midpoint. What is the midpoint called as? You know? How do you represent midpoints? There is a letter for that. What is that letter?
Median.
No, that is the midpoint of the data. That is median. What is the midpoint of a class?
Assumed median.
No. I think if I'm forgetting. What is the letter which is representation of a midpoint of a class?
Mu.
Yes. Mu is the mean. It is the mean of population. Small x, it is the deviation. Capital X is the midpoint of that class. You have to remember, small x is the deviated score. Capital X is the midpoint. M is the mean of the data. Mu is the mean of the population. It is not for the sample. M is the mean of the sample. Mu is the mean for the entire population. This you have to remember. So after understanding this, now we go for this. See, they have taken at the center point. See, it is marked at the center. This is the midpoint. 42. And in 42, you have 2. Therefore, 2 against 42. That is the center points. Okay. Here 52. And in 52, we have frequency 5. 5 against 52. So this is the point. So like this has been marked. And you got a line. And that the line is called as frequency polygon. So because since we have taken frequency, the name frequency has come. Why the name polygon? Yes, tell me. There are many turns, many edges, many turns. Therefore, we call it as polygon. Okay. So from the beginning, I told you have to take some hypothetical 50 or 60 scores. You would have drawn frequency diagram and all. For that data, for pie graph and for bar graph, you take your own 10 standard notes. And starting from frequency polygon, you take the hypothetical what you have assumed, because now you are not having data. That assumed data, you draw this frequency polygon. See, approximately, this also looking like a normal probability curve, but it's not a good curve. But if you are taking for a mini data, no, like 100, 200, 300, 400, if the data increases, you will get a smooth, approximately looking normal probability curve. So the fourth one, histogram. and this is the histogram. The bar graph, it's very simple. Bar graph, you know, bar graph of frequency distribution is called histogram. If it is ungrouped data, that is bar graph. Bar graph for ungrouped data is called, that will be a graph for ungrouped data is bar graph. A graph for grouped data, we call it as frequency distribution. Okay. See, same way, you can look at this. The classes is taken on the x-axis and frequency is taken on the y-axis. Each class is represented by the 1 centimeter. It's simple to draw. This we call it as histogram. Again, no addition of hypothetical classes below and after. As I have said previously, these are the scaling. 1 centimeter is equal to 1 class in x-axis. 1 centimeter is equal to 2 frequency in y-axis. And now you can draw. Normally here lower limit to real upper limit is taken, and just you are drawing the bar graph. I have given different colors. This series of rectangle is called as histogram. And this is the final graph. So what is the main difference between bar graph and histogram? Yes.
Bar graph is based on ungrouped data and histogram is based on grouped data.
That is the difference. That's all. That is the difference. Now, little bit just little bit understanding of this. The base is directly proportional to the interval. If you are taking 5 as your interval, that much breadth it will be. If you are taking 10 as interval, that much breadth it will be. If you are taking 2 as interval, that much breadth it will be. Base is directly proportional to the interval of the class. What is the length of the class is proportional to? What is the length of the rectangle? Is proportional to?
Frequency.
Very good. Length is proportional to frequency. Base is proportional to class interval. Area is proportional to? Area of the histogram is proportional to the total data, total number of data, n. This is a further understanding. So draw histogram in a graph of your hypothetical data and attach with the assignments. Can use half sheet also, but it should be in graph, not in a white sheet. The last but one, cumulative frequency curve. So as like line diagram, but you are taking the cumulative frequency, not with the frequency of each class. You are taking the added frequency. That is the difference. Instead of frequency for each class, you are taking the cumulative frequency against each class. Okay, we know the cumulative frequency. In the right, you see the definition. Cumulative frequency is the frequency of that class plus all the frequency arranged in the ascending order. Okay. So 40 to 44, you have to 45 to 49. For that class, the frequency is 0. So 2 plus 0, you will be having 2. Next class, 2 plus 5, you will be having 7. Next class, 7 plus 7, you will be having 14. For 55 to 59, for 14 is the cumulative frequency. So you have the data, then go for the drawing, and then scale is simple. Since you have taken total here 10 frequencies for y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 1 class. So that is the difference. You can see the diagram on the right. So the class is represented by the real lower limit. Each class you are representing the real lower limit, and it is drawn across the cumulative frequency for each class, but one hypothetical class is taken on the lower end. One hypothetical class is taken. And that is what I have, whatever I told, that is on the left hand side. So this 39.5 is the hypothetical value. Just in order to start the line from the x-axis, they have taken an hypothetical class whose frequency is 0. Okay. So this is what the cumulative frequency curve. If you want to see the full curve, this is the full curve. Okay. Right, we are on the now last. Again, this also you have to draw in the graph sheet of your hypothetical marks. Now we are on the last part, the cumulative frequency percentage curve. So the last one, the same third curve, but drawn in terms of percentage. As like pi we draw now, the scores are taken in degrees, 360 degrees. Now you take the cumulative frequency data into percentage, 100%. Okay. But the curve is drawn for, sorry, I told the lower limit, it's drawn even for that frequency, cumulative frequency curve, it is the exact upper limit, not lower limit. Exact upper limit of each class. Corresponding to cumulative frequency percentage. Okay. This cumulative frequency percentage curve is called as Ogive. The another name for this is Ogive. So if you see a term in TRB or some CTET examination, this is this word Ogive may come in examination like TET examination, CTET, like TRB. This may be coming in multiple choice question. What is Ogive? It is cumulative frequency percentage curve. This is very simple. You have to go for cumulative frequency. You know this. How to go for cumulative frequency? Just add percentage. So how to take the percentage? How to get this value for 3.5? So you have to take 56 is equal to 100. For the 56 is the total. Therefore, for that you have to take it as 100%. This is frequency. This is percentage. For 2, how much? Therefore, 2 into 100 by 56. I think you will get the 3.5. Like that, you have to calculate for each part of cumulative frequency. These two, 7, 14, like that. And this is the explanation on the right hand side. Okay, as like for pi diagram, which is for degrees, now we are taking for 100. Okay, like this, you have to calculate for each part of cumulative frequency. For 56 only, it will give 100. For others, you have to calculate that portion's percentage. You have to calculate. After calculating, you have to go for the scaling. Now, 1 centimeter is equal to 1 class, and in y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 20%. And now we have drawn the curve, which is called as cumulative frequency percentage curve. And if you want to see in full scale, this is the full scale. Okay. this is the curve. Now let us understand about this OGAI. OGAI is very important of all the curves. As like we said, no, in measures of dispersion, standard deviation is much more useful than any other dispersion. In central tendency, which is more useful?
Mean, sir.
Mean is more useful. Likewise, in graphs, OGAI is more useful. Let us see how it is useful. Suppose you have a data line and representing a data line starting from 1 to 100. And what is the center point called as? What is the center? This is otherwise known as?
Median.
Yes, median. This is otherwise known as median. Okay. Suppose if I am making it to 4 quarters, this is known as?
Quartile deviation.
This is quarter 1, Q1. This is known as Q2. This is known as Q3. This is 4th quarter. If I break this line into 10 equal parts, 10 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is that one part called as? If you are dividing into 10 equal parts, this is called as deciles. Decile. D-E-C-I-L-E. Decile. Okay. If it is 10 equal parts means one part we call it as decile, which means this is a decile 1, D1. This is D2, decile 2. What is the center we call as? What is the center? In terms of design.
D5.
Very good. This is D5. Okay. Likewise. Another name, that's all. It is another name. If you want to make into 100 equal parts, the first one is P1. P1. The second data will be P2. The third data will be P3. Fourth data will be P4. What is this data will be here? At the middle.
P50.
P50. See the different names. The center, it can be called as median, or it can be called as Q2, or it can be called as fifth decile, or it can be called as P50. So that many, okay. And that is what I have given in the representation. Now look at all the three in a single slide. Percentiles means individual scores. First percentile to 100th percentile. Deciles means a group of 10. If you divide into 10 equal parts. Quartiles means it's a 4 quarter, 25%. 10% means decile. Single means percentile, 1. Okay.
Sir.
Yes. Yes. Tell me. Yes. Somebody wants to tell something? Yes. Okay, if you draw, then the OGAI will be like this. How to calculate median from the OGAI? No need to go for any calculation. If you have OGAI, that line, how to calculate median? In the x-axis, you will be having the 50, P50. Sorry, in the y-axis, you see. This is a percentage. In left, you are drawn here as percentage. At the 50th percentage, draw a line which touches the curve, and from there you vertically drop down which touches the x-axis, and that mark will be, it gives P50. So easily you can calculate without going for any calculation. How to find P25? Yes, how to find P25?
From 25th percentile.
Yes, you start from 25 on the y-axis. Start horizontally, draw a line from 25th percentile. Let it touches the line. From the line, you come 90 degrees to the x-axis and drop a vertical line and find that value. That value will be P25. Likewise, you can find P75. And P75 is Q3, P25 is Q1. So Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2, you will get QD. So many things you can find using this curve. Okay. So in that way, it is very versatile. It gives many things. Okay, median, each individual percentile, P1, P2, P3, you can find it out. So in this way, you can calculate median. You can check it with your calculated value. You find this median, you have calculated using our table, our distribution table, using formulas. You get the graph value, you can check your graph value with that of the calculated value, whether it is coming correct. Mostly it has to come correct. Maybe little deviation can be there, not for very much deviation. So your calculated value can be 69.5. Your graph value can be 69.6 or 69.7, like that. It will be like this only, it should come. If your graph value is coming 59, then somewhere we are making mistake, either in the calculation or in the graph. So you can calculate QD from the Ogre curve. You can calculate kurtosis, which is P90, P10 from the graph. So kurtosis value, no need to calculate from the calculation, take it from the graph. P90 and P10 you can graph from the graph value. QD, you can take it from the graph or you can take it from the calculation. Previously I have calculated. So you can go for the kurtosis value. Skewness also you can calculate, because we know the previously mean, median value, you know, standard deviation, you know. So at the end, you can tabulate all the values. So normal probability curve, you can know kurtosis, you can know skewness, all these things. So that up to this, you have to calculate. So with that, we end our class.